Hello and welcome to Walk the Talk. I am Shekhar Gupta, and what am I doing here? Gawking like a teenager at artillery guns. I'll tell you the reason. The reason is that if Make in India has to work with India's defense, which is the fourth largest defense machinery in the world, then its home has to be in Pune. And if it has to be successful in Pune, it has to work in the home of my friend Baba Kalyani, Chairman of Bharat Forge. You also like gawking at guns. In fact, more than gawking, making them.
Yeah, sure.
Without anybody having asked you to do so.
No, this was really, we just got a little frustrated by the fact that why is this country not able to build its own howitzers? We got the Bofors guns in 1984. We got the technology.
87.
Yeah, okay, 87. Then we got the TOT for that. And till last year, nobody was able to make a gun. And a gun essentially...
And it is still the only gun that works when chips are down.
Yes, absolutely. No, it's a great gun. It's a very good quality weapon. But the way we looked at it is, gun is nothing but forgings.
Right.
The barrel is a forging, the breech is a forging.
And you are the master forger of the world.
I said, this is our
master
technology.
Forger.
I said, this is our technology. We know this very well, so let's make an attempt to do this. And we put a team of people. None of them had any experience about guns. These were young engineers that just came out of our various different departments. Some from engineering, some from forging, some from metallurgy, some from machining. And we were lucky that we found a facility in Switzerland that belonged to Rheinmetall, and one of the best facilities in the world.
Rheinmetall is the gold standard for gun manufacturing.
And they wanted to sell this, so we just bought the whole plant, and we set it up, and we started designing the gun, and 18 months later we had a gun.
So on your own you designed this gun, and this is supposed to be a replacement for Bofors or a generation next to Bofors?
This is a generation next to Bofors. Bofors is a 39 caliber gun. Now the ordnance factory has made a 45 caliber, but this is a 52 caliber. So this is a much higher range.
No, this thing about bore and caliber is an old joke.
It's very simple.
General Sundarji used to tell me that you journalists, and of course because I made a mistake with my coverage of Operation Blue Star, I confused a mountain howitzer, a 25-pounder, with a trajectory weapon. And he never let me forget that. So he said, you journalists can be big bores despite having low caliber. So you are now an artillery commander. Tell me the difference.
It's very simple. The bore of the gun is what the size of ammunition it takes. So if you have a 155 millimeter gun, then it takes a 155 millimeter diameter ammunition. If you have a 105, then it will take a 105 millimeter ammunition. So that's the difference between a bore. Caliber is the number of times multiplied by the bore, the length of the barrel.
I see.
So if it is 52 caliber, it is 52 multiplied by 155, which is roughly about 8 meters. So 8 meters is the length of the barrel.
And this means this barrel is about 25% longer than that of the Bofors gun.
Yes. The Bofors is 39 into 155.
Right. So it gives you that much more range?
Yeah, it gives you more range. This will go 41 kilometers. And if you put ammunition with extended range and things like that, it could probably go even a little more.
And those are the GSQR these days?
Absolutely. It's largely related to range.
Because in a war, for a long time now, in any modern war, it's artillery that inflicts the most casualties. Yeah,
but the advantage with a 52 caliber, 52 caliber has now become standard worldwide. It's a NATO standard, it's the US standard, so it's kind of a standard worldwide. So the ammunition for this is now standard worldwide in terms of this. Second, you can fire 40 kilometers plus, 41, up to 47 kilometers, depending on what ammunition you use.
So
and if you
so
use...
basically to retaliate, your adversary also has to have the same range.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise you can't touch your gun because his guns will fire much shorter range. You can be 10 kilometers away and still inflict...
But you still have to do all this without having access to a real shell.
Yes. So we use a lot of computer simulation.
Right.
We have very high computer capabilities here in terms of designing, in terms of simulation, and we have now acquired all the simulation tools that you need for guns, especially for firing, dynamics, trajectory, the pressure that it generates inside the barrel. How do you then design the barrel to take care of that pressure? So we have done this all on a computer. But the real test, the proof of all this is in firing.
And this is now being tested by the army. They've
Yes.
accepted this for testing.
Our barrel
The
has gone for testing.
What is a gun? Gun is a barrel. It's a carriage.
Gun is a
and
barrel.
it has its fire control system.
Yes, gun is a barrel. It's got a breech mechanism.
Right.
That's where you load the shell from and you close it. It's closing. Then it's got a turret which moves around on which the barrel is mounted. It's got recoil cylinders which take the recoil.
And then you aim.
Yeah.
And control.
And it's got a fire control system. A fire control system for any gun.
Which is the most high-tech part.
Well, everybody thinks it's a high-tech part, but it's a pretty simple two-axis CNC control.
What is CNC?
Computer numeric control.
Uh-huh.
That means you have two axes that are controlled by a computer logic. In this case, it's probably a PLC logic. So there's a computer chip inside that kind of gives the command if you put the data in.
So this is what you call the battle station.
Yeah, this is a smaller version because it's a smaller gun.
Right.
So it doesn't have all the sophistication that you need for, because the range of this is quite small.
Because then you have to feed in wind direction,
Yeah,
velocity,
exactly.
Gravity,
Yeah.
altitude from which you are firing, because with that
Exactly.
gravity will
And
vary.
what trajectory you want, etc.
Right. And what kind of shell you are using.
Yeah, exactly.
So that gun, how high tech is that? Besides the barrel, these are physical parts. Because
Well, it's,
guns have to be fire and
it's
forget.
self-propelled.
Guns have to be self-loading now.
Yeah.
You have to have
Oh yeah,
electronic
this is
loading.
going to have an automatic loader and everything else. That's pretty simple.
Huh.
That's
And this can fire any kind of shell currently in use.
any kind of 155 millimeter shell currently in use, and also longer range shells which we are not using, but you can use it.
We, as in India, is not using.
Yeah, it's not using.
What kind of shells are those?
Well, one with base bleed systems, one with rocket assist motor,
Right.
which
go
can
much further.
yeah, which can go a little longer range.
Right.
I mean, today people are developing smart ammunition with a rocket assist that I am told, I don't know for sure, I'm told can almost go 60 kilometers.
But you've made ammunition too.
Yeah, we made millions of them.
And you made ammunition for the Bofors gun as well.
Yes.
But you can't use it.
No.
Even for trials.
No.
So tell us the
because,
story.
because we don't fill the explosives. We're
Right.
not allowed to fill explosives.
You just do the
During the
forging.
Kargil war, there was a huge shortage of
Bofors
ammunition.
ammunition.
And at that time, the scientific advisor to the defense minister came to me and said, we need you to make 100,000 shells right away. You got to start tomorrow, kind of. So we said, okay. When you are a war going on, you'd leave everything and do whatever was required.
Right.
So we made those shells and we supplied.
And
But that was the end of it.
so they didn't think of building on that sourcing. But is that changing now? Is there a change in the mindset?
I think it will change. I think 2 or 3 things will make it change. Number one, I think things are getting a lot more transparent. Government has recently, in the last few weeks itself, passed a law which now makes mandatory for government PSUs and ordnance factories to have taxes at the same level as private industry. So now at least
More level playing field.
on a pricing system, you're both paying the same excise or sales tax or VAT or whatever you're supposed to do. So that way you will have fair competition.
Do you find an open-mindedness, because private sector is in any case viewed with suspicion, both for its ability and motives?
You see, I think this is, Shekhar, to be very honest with you, this is a process that has to be done from both sides. You know, if industry just keeps saying that, you know, there is a closed mind at the other end and nothing is happening and we are not allowed to do anything, and then the Ministry of Defense and the system will say, you know, you guys haven't done anything, you have no experience, and, you know, what are you talking about?
So it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, so therefore, I think the best approach, at least what we have taken is, you know, why wait for anything? Make a product. You know, okay, it's a lot of investment, it's a lot of risk.
In fact, I believe that's how you did this, because I know you don't make gun barrels for T-72 tanks, but you're making them on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
And the reason being?
Reason being, there are a lot of tanks which have barrels that are not working. So we thought that we will solve that problem, because we know what the problem is.
I mean, if I only talk of publicly available information, it's more than 1,000 tanks.
Yes, and that's on the internet.
Non-operational.
Yeah.
And you think this gun can work there?
Yeah, absolutely.
But they haven't tried it yet.
Not yet.
But you are still pushing it. So,
you know, I'm very sure, from whatever I know of the international military hardware business, you know, now that 2-3 years we've been working there, I am very sure that when people see this kind of facilities within India, in the private sector or even in the public sector, facilities that can make high quality products, people will come here to buy. Okay? There is a few things that we need to put into place, and those few things are, we need testing facilities, because, you know, unless I test my product and unless I get it certified that, you know, that thing works at and fires at so and so range or XYZ, nobody's going to believe me if I just write a certificate.
And overseas companies have firing ranges and firing ability.
Yeah. I mean, I have been offered to send my gun to South Africa for testing. Right. It's very expensive.
Right.
And, you know, then I have to get permission from Government of India
to send it out.
You know, export. That itself might take, I don't know how long. So we are better off doing it here. And I think the current government is seized of this problem. I think they are taking a lot of actions in this.